What a good day. What a wonderful thing you're doing here.
We need to find more formats like you're doing now to keep this going now. And also when we get back.
Everything in those comments is so empowering, so supportive, so beautiful. And that is what we do in the room every month.
This was not 100% what I expected, which is good.
People will really, really need it.
It's really important to us to use Singular Sensation, yes, as a safe gathering place, but also as a place to amplify and support and offer a safe space too.
How'd you get so good at this?
Hi everyone, welcome to this edition of Singular Sensation Online. I'm your host, Jeni Wells. My pronouns are she, her, and I am so thrilled that you are joining us today. You know, we want to use this opportunity, this pause in time, and this platform with a captive audience to have important conversations with members of our artistic community. And tonight we are doing just that. And we do want to offer our viewers a content warning for today's episode. We will be talking with one of the founders of the #CurtainUp movement, talking about theater school experiences and the toxicity of the theater industry and how they are breaking that down one story at a time. We'll also be chatting with Robert Wilkinson about his new project, The Voice in the Other Room, a piece based on addiction and community healing. So we want to let you know that we will be talking about trauma and addiction in tonight's episode. We will offer timestamps in the description. So if you do need to take a moment away, you're welcome to do so. We'll also be chatting with the creators and actors of Private Idiots, Andre Sills and Oliver Ward. We'll be talking to them about the importance of humor in important conversations and continuing conversations about our differences and how we can unite within them. We'll also have musical performances by Chris Tsujiuchi in support of the Red Dress Ball, which we will give you a little bit of information on as well for the People with AIDS Foundation. And we'll have a beautiful performance by Dillan, Meighan-Chiblowof of the Voicing the Circle podcast. We have so many community segments for you tonight. We are just blown away by the community partners that we have here at Singular Sensation. We'll hear from the Canadian Green Alliance. We'll have our Sidebiz Studio spotlight. We'll also be chatting with two of the founding members of the Tweed and Company theater company who are looking to expand their team. Could it be you? Are you the right person? Stay tuned to find out who they're looking for and how you can get involved. We'll also hear from our political correspondent, Clare Blackwood of Late Night in Canada, and we will have a wellness minute with Live with Ease's Julia Uhas. We also have a little bit of footage from our very first online open mic party with the new local that we are excited to share with you, and we'll let you know when you can find us for our next online open mic party. Thank you all so much for joining us. If you aren't following us already on social media, please do so, because we want to keep you informed of what is happening. We are at _sensation. And of course, don't forget to like and subscribe on YouTube at Singular Sensation Online. Thank you for joining us. Let's start the show.
My name is Rachel Del Duca, and I am a professional organizer and owner of Living in Harmony. Now, what is a professional organizer, you might wonder? Well, you know those swoon-worthy pantries or closets or gorgeous homes you see on Pinterest? Well, I help to create just that. But I don't create just a beautiful exterior. I am passionate about creating peaceful and functional and beautiful spaces in my clients' homes. Now, I became a professional organizer. Well, I actually owe this to being a theater artist. As a performer, I would travel for contracts and I would go away for sometimes 6 months at a time with only 1 to 2 suitcases worth of possessions. And when I would come home from these contracts, I would always declutter my closet because I thought, if I didn't need it for the past however many months, why do I still own it? It doesn't deserve a place in my life. And this became a lifestyle change for me and a goal to living more sustainably and in harmony with every part of my life. I realized that less stuff equaled less stress. And I realized that this constant need for always buying the new thing and living with more than I actually needed in my life was not sustainable for the environment either. Now, something that I've discovered from working with clients is that we all normalize a certain amount of stress or clutter or mess in our lives, and we think that that is just the way life is. But I'm here to tell you that it doesn't have to be that way. And it's as simple as bringing someone in to help you with the process and to guide you and to show you that your home has potential and we can create something more beautiful than you can even imagine. And we can help you live in harmony with every part of your life. You can find me online at www.livinginharmonybyRachel.com or on Instagram, follow my adventures at livinginharmony.by.rachel. And of course, you can find me on Sidebiz. Thank you so much, friends. I can't wait to work with you. Bye.
I'm so thrilled to introduce Zach from Curtain Up. I am sure you have heard about them. They have taken social media by storm. They are for community by community to start tearing apart the toxicity of the arts. Zach.
Hello, community. Hello, Singular Sensations. Jeni, thank you so much for having me and by result, Curtain Up here to discuss the work that we do. We're thrilled.
What inspired you to start Curtain Up and really create this platform for this unifying conversation?
We have this huge thing that we all share that we haven't done anything meaningful within the power of who we are as storytellers and as artists and as fierce people who are able to bring catharsis and empathy and sympathy and offer this beautiful lens. I'm like, we haven't taken the space that we deserve to take in claiming these and reclaiming these spaces for the future generations, and as well as reclaiming the space to those like myself, and I'm sure like you and anybody else listening right now who've actually been subjugated to this harm. So that's really where Curtain Up started, was the fact that we just were having a discussion about all of these trends that we noticed in all of our experiences, and we were like, we need to start doing something about this, especially nowadays where like the power is, we're learning with all of the happenings of the world, the true power lies in community. So if we as artists can band together and make a statement of what we deserve and what we learned in just discussing this as a group within my immediate circle and within just my friends as a whole, is we have the power to change this. We have the power to reclaim these spaces for future generations. And that's really where the birth of Curtain Up came, is we're like, we need, the way that we start doing this work is by spotlighting the harm, and folks who would like to come forward with their stories can have a place run by artists to do so.
Community care is very much at the base of what we do, and obviously so much at the base of what you're doing. So how do you care for yourselves while caring for the community that you're serving through this movement?
That is a great question, Jeni. That is such a good question, because I can only speak for myself in this regard, but I've had a really tough time with that. I think the best thing that I've learned throughout this process is that community truly is everything. And the more that you can lean into it, the better. So, and then also allowing people to claim their space. I'm so, so grateful to the community of people behind Curtain Up, because without them, none of this would have been possible. And without them, like, we've been able to keep each other sane, and we've been able to support one another. And the really lovely thing about Curtain Up right now is that we operate in this decolonized way where we almost recognize when each other needs space. And there's always this willingness within the community to be like, hey, I want to make sure you're okay, and I want to make sure you're taking care of yourself. So how can I help? And I've gotten so many responses in that regard of like, hey, you got to chill. Let me help you out. What can I do? And I've learned to take people up on their offers, right? Like, don't just like when people reach out to you in that way, they're not just doing so as a passing comment, and they're not just doing so to be like a passive ally. Like, they're actually asking you. So take them up on it. And I've learned to do that in this time, because taking the space away is very, very important, especially when you're in a position where you're not getting your dollar bills for it. So yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like we hear the word community a lot. We hear the phrase "we're in this together" a lot, and I think those are easy words to throw around. But what you're doing really is the embodiment of all of that vocabulary, which is so amazing to see. We talked about the word reclaiming. When did we lose our agency? And why do you think it is that is the mentality, this breaking down and building up? Like, where did that even come from?
Yeah, I think it's so many things, Jeni. It's this idea of who are these educators in the room, and are they qualified to be there? 2, what are they coming into into this space with? Are they carrying their own trauma that they are subjugating to their students? And are they aware that they might be doing so? And 3, when these educators make mistakes, how do we hold them accountable in a way that is meaningful to our growth as well as theirs? And how do these systems, these institutional systems, support the individuals, especially those who are BIPOC, who are queer, who have neurodiverse issues, who have who are disabled in any way, are marginalized folks? How do we make sure that they feel supported and they feel authenticated in the ways that we've not been able to do so in the past? I think it's an amalgamation of those 3 things as well as others. Like, there's a lack of accountability in these institutions. There is a lack of accountability within like the smallest person to the largest person. And there needs to be, because ultimately, like, we don't get to decide what hurts people. Like, what hurts people. And the only thing that we are in a position to do is to learn and account and move forward with the new intent. So I think that is something that's missing in these institutions. And obviously it's missing because we have hundreds of accounts that have come forward on our page alone. So we need to build that meaningful system of accountability that ensures that every student feels heard, and that their education, where their dollars are as green as any other student, we need to make sure that there's this idea of equity. I would love for Curtain Up, and I think this is the direction where we're headed, is we want to be a watchdog for not only educational spaces, but the industry as a whole, to just use us as a resource. We are a resource to individuals who may not have the capacity, or who may not necessarily feel the support systems in place for them to be heard. And if we can be that support system, and we can be the individuals who take on your complaint and bring it into the light and offer you a resolution that allows you to feel heard and allows you to move on from this in a meaningful way, that allows you to carry on with your artistry as you deserve to. That's the goal. I want to be in a position throughout my life where I can make choices that not only value myself, but value the collective of whatever experience I'm in and the perspectives. But also it's the fact too that personally, like, I'm a survivor of this trauma. And that sounds like a bold statement to say, but I say it because it's true. My personal, so I told you my collective, my personal is I would like for kids like me to grow up in a world where the people around them offer them authenticity and that they never have to go through the steps of authenticating themselves in the way that I did. I want that to be established for them. And I want kids who are Black, who are brown, who are Asian, who are queer, who are neurodiverse, who are disabled to understand that their lived experience is beautiful and they deserve it. And it's whole and it's complicated and it's gorgeous and it's haunting at times. And there's things that I want people to grow up in a way where they can take the world on and not have to take the world on in a liminality. That's what I want to say. And that's what keeps me in this, is the community and my personal mission in making sure that folks like me can be in a position where throughout the grandeur of their lives, they are consistently supported and loved. And that's the way that they lead, because that's what we want. We want to lead with love. And love is so many things. Like, love is me telling you that when you've hurt me, I have to tell you that. Like, love is so complex, but if we lead with it, it can never lead us astray. My challenge and my invitation is that you facilitate those people being put in those positions. That's the power that you as individuals who carry these theater companies have, to put new individuals in the center of these stories and expand the lens. That is how we create equity. My invitation is that you facilitate those people being put in those positions. That's the power that you as individuals who carry these theater companies have, to put new individuals in the center of these stories and expand the lens. That is how we create equity. That is how we use an organization like Curtain Up to ensure that we meet our mandate of being a watchdog organization that ensures that the most marginalized know that their space and their humanity in our arts industry is deserved and it's celebrated, and we encourage it just as much as the people who've historically always been here. You deserve to be too.
Zach, I can't thank you enough, for the work you're doing, for taking the time to join us, and for being so open and willing to share your thoughts and feelings with us. You are just fucking awesome. This is
thanks, Jeni. This has been such a joy. Like, we have so little to look forward to in COVID, and this has been like my shining light of something to look forward to here. So I appreciate you just allowing me to claim the spaces I need. And
You're welcome back at any time. Open invitation.
Oh my God, please, literally just send me a message. I will come back and rant in my chair here. Like, are you serious? I would love that.
I never kid.
Oh my God, awesome. I'm glad to hear that. That's awesome.
Okay, well, all the best with Curtain Up. Take care of yourself, take care of each other, and again, thank you for what you're doing.
Thank you for having us. This has been wonderful. And to all of you out there, thank you for engaging with our movement. Please continue to do so, because change is on its way. And I'm here to tell you that it is. So, Curtain Up 2021, follow us everywhere.
You can push me away, I can take it. I can make you a promise and break it. We know the way this goes by now. Run running off just to see if I chase you. I pretend I know how to replace you. Still we get tangled up somehow. Hear it thunder, and I wonder, how long can I hang on? I'm caught in the storm, I'm caught in the rain, I'm caught in the rush that hides this pain. I'm ready to drown, it's coming down, but I feel so alive. Just let me go, just walk away. If you love someone, you never let them stay. Caught in the storm. As the bars on the Bowery are closing, you arrive at my door standing frozen. You say you thought you'd find me here. Tell me how I begin to forget you when you keep coming back, and I let you love me until you disappear. I'm caught in the storm, I'm caught in the rain, I'm caught in the rush that hides this pain. I'm ready to drown, it's coming down, but I feel so alive. Just let me go, just walk away. If you love someone, you never let them stay. Caught in the storm, let me wash away. You can find me after the flood. Let me wash away. Caught in the storm, caught in the rain, I'm caught in the rush that hides this pain. If you love someone, you find a way to stay. Caught in the storm.
Hi, my name is Tricia Black. I'm the creative director of Tweed & Company Theater.
And I'm Tim Porter. I'm the artistic director of Tweed & Company Theater. And we are here to talk today about a brand new position that we are hiring in our company, our development and outreach coordinator. Tweed & Company has seen 5 seasons of consistent growth. Our budgets have grown, the number of artists and creators we hire have grown, our grants have grown, our sponsorships have increased. We've done more shows year over year, other than last year, of course, where we halted everything, but we're now moving to flexible online programming and outdoor programming, and primed to come away from this bigger and stronger and better than ever. We have a beautiful new space for development and incubation where we'll be starting to do writers retreats, week-long and 2-week-long writers retreats with workshop presentations. We've created 5 full-scale original Canadian musicals, countless other productions. We're doing about 8 to 10 productions each season and hiring 30 to 50 artists per year. And we want you to be a part of that. This role will be heavily involved in our community outreach, although you don't have to be based in Tweed by any means, and will also help with our development productions and our overall outreach within the artistic community and across the country. We really want to find someone who can expand our horizons as an organization and make sure that everyone sees themselves on stage. Trish, you can talk a little bit more about that.
Yeah, of course. So our new development and outreach coordinator will also be working pretty closely with me, and my job as creative director is to look into our new development of new works, which of course includes finding new points of view, fresh ideas, voices that maybe haven't been heard as often as they should have. Over the last few years, at Tweed & Company, because we've been so small, we've kind of been the playwrights, the composers, the directors, and all of that. And now that we have this opportunity to expand, we would love to artistically bring some of those voices to our stage and to our community, because it's incredibly important. And while we also develop new work, so a new Canadian musical theater, we're also expanding into the idea of existing program musicals as well, but putting our own spin on it and changing things around a little bit, giving it new life. You're truly looking for the number one thing for us at Tweed & Co. is a passion for theater. That love of theater in general, of musical theater, of storytelling. Obviously, somebody who might have experience in the industry is a plus, but not a requirement necessarily. We just really want to know who you are and why you're passionate about joining our team and what makes you want to be a part of theater. Also, this role would be helping to develop Tweed & Company's artist roster, our talent pool, specifically seeking out emerging artists and artists for whom Tweed & Company could provide mentorship or professional development opportunities to, with a specific focus on QT BIPOC emerging artists. We really want to try to give people those opportunities within our company, helping work with myself and Tim in terms of that and finding out the really great new programming that we can bring to the team. You can write us a document. You can also send in a video submission or an audio submission, which I love. Honestly, I want the audio and the videos. Like, I want to see who you are, but if that's not for you, obviously written is totally appropriate. Apply at info@tweedandcompany.com.
Oh,
there
yeah,
you
you're
go.
right.
Just go to the website, tweedandcompany.com.
This is why we need you. We're so overworked.
Okay, so on Monday, after a weekend of terrible restriction policies flip-flopping back and forth faster than a teeter-totter on methamphetamines, Ford's government was like, whoops, we made a mistake. Apparently carding is bad. And the rest of us looked up from the guillotines we were making and went, you think? And then on Tuesday, not only was Doug absent from the Ontario legislature for the second day in a row, but his government finally announced that they were considering paid sick leave. And we were like, considering? And then resumed sharpening the blades on our guillotines. And then we heard that Ford was missing because he was in isolation due to a staffer getting COVID. And we were like, karma's a bitch, huh? Until we remembered that he still gets paid $800 a day in isolation after a year of denying paid sick leave to everyone else, and started sharpening our guillotine blades even faster. We also learned that Ford's government had ignored its own scientists' advice about COVID vaccination hotspots and had neglected 5 high-risk postal codes in favor of 8 lower-risk postal codes that just happened to be in conservative ridings. And let's be honest, no one was surprised by this. I'd be more surprised to learn that Doug Ford even knows what a hotspot is. He probably thinks hotspots are where he goes every winter to get a tan. But why does Punta Cana need more vaccines? But moving on to Wednesday, we were all given the gift of learning that Premier Doug Ford, the man in charge of the entire province of Ontario, and the man who openly mocked us all for calling his online vaccination process confusing, does not know how to use a laptop. And we were like, you can't make this shit up, while testing out our guillotine prototypes on rich person head-sized melons. And then everything came to a climax on Thursday, when Doug Ford stood up in front of the entire province, told us all how sorry he was about how badly he'd fucked everything up, and cried a bunch while guzzling water like it was liberal tears. And we would have given a shit, but we were too busy dragging our homemade guillotines toward his office like the world's most authentic French Revolution LARP. And that, my friends, is the story of Doug Ford's terrible, horrible, no good, very bad week.
Let's start at the beginning. Tell us about, well, I'll leave it up to you how you'd like to describe it, whether it's the inspiration first, the project itself. Take us through it.
I was thinking about this morning, like how did this happen? Like, how did I end up in this situation? I mean, the inspiration absolutely comes from having a relationship with addiction myself. And people that struggle with addiction or living with addiction talk about geographical change. You know, I'm going to move. I'm going to start hanging out in a different place. I'm going to start working in a different place. I'm going to move to a different city. I'm going to live in a different country. And it's going to change everything. And it will change everything except for your relationship with addiction. That thing isn't going to suddenly go away. So I moved to India, not because I was trying to escape addiction, but because that's where my life took me. And it highlighted my relationship with addiction because I was alone more than I've ever been alone. We're in lockdown right now, right?
Yeah.
I was in lockdown in India for a year before COVID started. I was basically secluded most of the time in a room by myself. It was a crazy experience. And the thing that I had was my addiction, was the constant thing that was always there with me. And it really made me realize, holy crap, why isn't anyone talking about this? Why isn't it being shown in any kind of musical theater in a reasonable way? And so I said, you know, I need to create an experience where we can see addiction in theater and understand it better, rather than just have it be something that's happening to some of the characters. I sat down to write, you know, I was like, okay, I'm gonna write this musical. And I start, and I'm like, oh my God, how am I gonna write this? Like, I can't even, what am I gonna say? Like, how am I gonna just summarize what the global experience with addiction is from a place of absolutely no knowledge except for my own lived experience? It's not possible. So I reached out to some people and they all said, do research in the form of interviews, interview people with addiction. The amount of sharing that happened in the first phase of my research, I was blown away with the things that people wanted to share. And it just, like, doing it, the first bit has forced me and moved me to know that I have to do the next bit, because what people want to say about their experience and want to sort of shine light on, it's just so important that we change the way we view this thing. It doesn't make you a bad person. It's just where some people are at today, and like they can be in a different spot tomorrow, and then in a different spot after that, and then they might be back where they are today at some point, and then they can change again, and we should normalize that conversation.
How did you find participants to interview for this piece? What's that process like?
So how those people came to me, I'm not sure, because they just sent me an email, because I put a post out on Facebook and was like, I'm doing this, and here's the explanation, and the funding is from the Ontario Arts Council. Like, please email me if you want to be involved. I was very fortunate to find a woman named Wendy Knoll, who not only is an addictions counselor, but is also a writer. She wrote a book, and so she moderated all of the conversations. So we did a group discussion with 5 participants where they were each able to share parts of their story. Mm-hmm. And then we did an hour individual interview with each of them, where they were able to dig deeper into their story with Wendy. And I just like recorded it for research purposes and like said nothing while those things were happening. And then I hired Dahlia Katz to do a theater workshop for me.
Love Dahlia.
Of course, who doesn't love Dahlia? She's amazing. And you know, Dahlia and I have worked together before, and I really trust her, and I really knew that I could trust her with this work and with the confidential nature of this work, and also the sensitive nature that it needs to be approached with. And so she created a workshop. We did a 3-hour theater workshop through Zoom, and we're moving into the next phase of the project, which I'm so excited about. I can't even stand it. Like, so my dad works doing trauma processing. So he practices, he's a yoga instructor. He does mindfulness and meditation instruction. He does something called iRest, which is, I'm not even sure, something to do with peacefulness. It's not something that I have a lot of in my life. And he also does somatic experiencing, which is a way of processing trauma, because human beings hold trauma in their body. When something traumatic happens, we don't allow that energy to move through us. We store it somewhere. So I've learned recently that my trauma lives behind me here, and my trauma healer and I are doing work to try and move through that, and to try and be able to process that and allow for that. And it's stuck in my jaw. And so we're going to do a somatic experiencing workshop with these participants, and I'm going to videotape it. And then my dad is offering them each 3 additional 1-hour sessions to be able to do their own trauma healing practice. So trying to create opportunities for these people to not only share with me, but to get something out of sharing. I'm so excited to create a platform where people can access healing if that's what they feel they need. And that, to me, honestly, if nothing else happens with the project, I'll be happy, because that community healing is the goal. And I want it to happen on a grand scale, but if it happens for these 5 people and that's it, it honestly was worth it. My privilege allows me the platform to be able to do that. And it's actually irresponsible to not use your privilege for good. And so if my privilege allows me to have access to education and access to be part of what I would consider, we are the creative class, which is a privilege. It's a decision to not make a lot of money, and I have the ability to survive because I have privilege. All of those things, if they equal me being able to communicate the stories of people with less privilege than me through communicating with them and engaging with them, that's a good use of my privilege, and I should do that.
So we have a bit of a clip from the project where it is so far. Can you tell us what we're about to see?
Yeah, so this is some music that I composed that we used during the theater workshop that we did with the participants that I had in my phase 1. And there's going to be some text that comes up on the screen, which is verbatim pieces of information that people shared about their story, verbatim pieces of text, all anonymously displayed, but just to give an idea of the level of detail and the necessity of sharing this story, I've just compiled a video that has some music and pieces of text that were shared.
Robert, what is the ultimate kind of goal or dream or vision for this work?
The piece itself wants to look at quote unquote regular people living with addiction. So I want regular people to see it. And those regular people don't all live in Toronto. So I would love to create an opportunity where this piece can travel. Obviously, we're talking years from now because we're in a pandemic. But it's going to take years to write, so that's okay. It's actually perfect for me that we can't do it now because I'm not ready.
Yeah, we wish you all the best of luck with it. And again, if anyone is watching and feels so moved that they would like to be part of it, please get in touch and add your voice to this. It sounds like a really beautiful opportunity for healing and connectivity. I think you've really found, a vocation in this work, and it's so beautiful to see. And I think what you're creating is really important and really beautiful. And I wish you all the best with it. Robert, if people want to be involved in the project, where can they connect with the team behind you?
They can connect with me through my email address, which you're going to put on the screen, I hope. Yeah.
Right there. It's right there right now.
Yeah. And also with my Insta. You can hit me up on Insta and follow for updates about how the project is going, and it's my personal and professional Insta, so that you can check me out there as well.
And you mentioned that there is a funding campaign as well. If people want to contribute that don't necessarily want to be involved personally, how can they contribute to this project?
Moving into a second phase, that money is currently coming out of my own pocket. I am looking for people who are interested in helping to make this story happen, and if they don't want to contribute through sharing their own story, or they don't feel they have a story to share, financial is the best way that we can move forward right now.
Robert, thank you so much for joining us today, and we wish you all the best on this project, and we can't wait to see where it goes in the future.
Thank you, and thank you so much for helping me to have a platform to continue having this conversation. I'm so grateful to be here.
Hey friends, my name is Julia. I'm a performing artist and I am an embodied mindful movement coach and yoga teacher. And I'd love for you to join me this month for Mindful May. I have many embodied mindful movement offerings this month that I think you would really enjoy to help you get out of that pandemic stickiness, the Zooming, the sitting, and start to leap into this energy of spring, this vibrant energy to bring us back to life and enjoy the abundance of the weather and just life. And all my practices are very mindful, they're gentle, we get to take our time and explore. So if you're someone who is weary about yoga and kind of makes that statement, I can't do yoga because I'm not flexible or I'm afraid I'm going to hurt myself, you do not have to worry about that in my class because I give you the space to explore your own body at your own pace. I have a Journey into Your Hips series, Awaken the Shoulder Girdle series. I have a Rise and Shine series, which is a sun salutation series, and it's soft sun salutation. So again, it's very gentle. It's not about, whipping through the salutation. We take our time. And then I also have a women's only adult beginner, but all levels. It's just fun. JJ's Jazz Dance Jam. So JJ's Jazz Jam. And again, it's just a fun dance class for anyone who likes to have a good time, have a dance party. Yeah, so beginners and all levels are welcome, but women only. Sorry, guys.
A portion of the proceeds this month will be going to Canadian Green Alliance. They're a not-for-profit devoted to bridging the gap between sustainability and theatre. So this is a cause that combines my love for Mama Earth and the theatre. So please check them out. They're doing some pretty remarkable things. So I hope you can join me this May. The series are quite affordable, and I also have some specials if you join more than one series. So be well, stay strong, enjoy this beautiful month, and I hope to see you in the virtual studio soon. Think love, speak love, be love.
Hi everyone, I'm Julia McClellan. And I'm Tess Venger. And we are the co-founding team of the Canadian Green Alliance, a national not-for-profit dedicated to bridging the gap between sustainability and theatre. And we're really excited to invite you to our Green Panel series that's happening once a month.
Our Green Panel series is a space that we're creating where we can dissect and really dive into some of the questions and conversations around sustainability, climate change, the theater, and everything around. We want it to feel like a living room where we can really have candid conversations about these incredibly important topics.
If you've ever felt like the conversation between climate change, climate justice, theater, and how we emerge from COVID-19 as a just industry way above your pay grade, these are for you. I certainly feel that way, and these panels have been an amazing opportunity for me to learn from these incredible panelists we have. Mm-hmm. We would not be able to make these panels happen without our amazing partners. The Toronto Alliance for the Performing Arts, TAPA, is our series partner, and our incredible producing partners, Singular Sensation, who are making all of this happen on their incredible streaming platform. We could not be more grateful. So please join us. See you soon.
Hi, Singular Sensations. I'm Brandon Hamilton. And I'm Barrett Morrison. And along with Matt Hyams and Priya Singh, we are the Red Dress Ball. If you've never heard of the Red Dress Ball before, we are an in-person gala fundraising event where we raise money for the beautiful and amazing charity called the Toronto People with AIDS Foundation. The event itself is a really fun event where everybody gets decked out in red. Ooh. For the first 2 years, we were in person, and for the second 2 years, we did a online webathon. And those are actually still available for viewing if you want to watch those.
Yeah, they're fantastic.
They are... Yeah, they're on YouTube and they're also on our website. And on our website, we also have links for donations that are still live. So if you want to contribute, it's there. What's the website?
The website is thereddressball.ca. So check that out. Check out those webathons. Please donate. And honestly, guys, we are so lucky to have such an amazing artist, Chris Tsujiuchi, who you guys should be familiar with here.
All 4 years.
All 4 years.
Yeah.
So he's contributed both to the in-person event and to our webathons. And he debuted something with us this year called Be Me, and we love it. We think it's fantastic. And we want you guys to please enjoy it and enjoy the rest of the show.
Have a good night.
Was hiding away. For a minute I was thinking I couldn't be saved. But just like a prayer, you were right there. You were always right there. In the back seat of my fears I found you. Now I know I couldn't live without you. That's all I need. I'm reminded that I could be free. Turning the page, let go of the feeling. Let go, need some healing. It's so clear to see I was waiting on me to be me. I followed a voice. It was calling in the night, out through the noise. And I knew it must be right, cause it was mine. And what's mine is yours. Yours. In the back seat of my fears, I found you. Now I know I couldn't live without you. That's all I need. I'm reminded that I could be free. Turning the page, let go of the feeling. Let go, need some healing. It's so clear to see I was waiting on me to be me. Let the feeling take me higher. I was dancing on the tightrope. Now I'm not afraid to let go. Every time I thought that it was over, oh, I felt you pull me closer. And I heard her say, yeah, that's all I need. I'm reminded that I could be free. Turning the page, let go of the feeling. Let go, need some healing. It's so clear to see I was waiting on me. That's all I need. I'm reminded that I could be free. Turning the page, let go of the feeling. Let go, need some healing. It's so clear to see I was waiting on me to be me.
I am so thrilled to welcome these two amazing people to the show. We have Oliver Ward and Andre Sills joining us. They are the creators and performers, actors. They're all the things with a new web series, Private Idiots. Welcome, welcome, welcome to Singular Sensation.
Thank you, Jenny. Glad to be here.
Having us.
Glad to have you, Andre. We've been trying to get you on this show for a while, so I'm glad that things lined up that we could bring you on.
Well, I didn't allow him to do the show until I was involved. That was my game plan. Keep saying no, man.
I was saving it. I was saving us for this one.
It all happens for a reason. The humor is what we all so desperately need right now. So thank you for bringing that to us. How did this come about? How do you guys know each other? Let's start with that.
Yeah, we'll start off at the Coburg, which was a bar in Cabbagetown.
We both worked there. We were both the late night bartenders, but we worked opposite shifts. But occasionally, I guess, I don't know, you would pop in or I'd pop in. And I think we got to know each other just across the bar.
Yeah. The Blue Flame Collective kind of started through, which was
right.
An initiative years ago where a bunch of actors were trying to get something started, get some film work, practice for film work for ourselves. And, we'd meet up every week and run some scenes. And then I guess from that, the next step was like, let's make a bunch of shorts.
Yeah.
And
well, yeah, no, exactly. So the Blue Flame Collective was just a way for working actors who were trying to do something that they weren't being cast to do, an opportunity to create any work you wanted. So sort of the challenge we put forth to all the actors was like, well, if you think you can play a part, then let's write some short films. And then as a collective, we started pumping out, like, I don't know, in the end, we made about 30, 40, 50 short films. But one of those films was called Sensitivity Training. And that was a response to a film festival in Toronto. It was a diversity film festival, and they were looking for films that showed you what, Toronto's diversity. And so I had this idea to have, I love comedies, and I love buddy comedies, and I love cop comedies. And I just thought Andre and I were going to make a perfect pair. And it was also like the time, I think Facebook had really sold off a lot of people's information. That was like the very beginning of all that. And there was a little bit of like, and there was like, not even the beginning, but I think like the trickle of like the woke movement. And so I just thought we just started kind of massaging this idea of these two guys in a car who are kind of the times. One's a little bit more than the other, and they're on a stakeout, and they're investigating a guy that they found on Facebook. And the whole thing kind of becomes a little bit racial, a little bit tense in the car. And at the very end of that first short film, as Andre's character is about to throttle the guy that they picked up in the back seat, he kicks the radio turns on, and then we hear that the Maple Leafs made it to the Stanley Cup. And then we all forget our differences, and everyone just starts cheering. And
that's the end.
Yeah.
Fairy tale that will never happen.
Yeah.
Wait, this would never happen. All our problems would be solved, or that the Leafs would make it that far?
The Leafs will make it.
Yeah. That was the most fictional part of the whole thing.
We love sports over here, so we know exactly what you're talking about. So let me ask you, when writing a piece like that, how do you ride that line between, addressing certain issues, but also keeping the humor in it?
Well, I think we gave ourselves permission to cross a line from time to time. And, I think I think we needed to do that because, we're also flashing back to this time last year, and the conversations this time last year were slightly different. And then as the months started to go on, then things started to change a little bit. So, especially with our first couple of episodes, our language is pretty like, it can get intense in its quality, in its offensiveness from time to time, but it's there for a purpose, right? And I think when we're writing about it, is like, okay, I'm fine with offending people, but our intent was the main thing, was to either get people to continue to have the conversation that these guys were having, that most people are having a hard time navigating in general.
Well, I was trying to get the script to a place where I'm like, oh, Andre will like this. Like, it's in a good place. He'll want to return to it. George Floyd murder. And then I was like, and then all of a sudden, it was a lot for me to process. I realized, like, I'm writing a Black man's opinion on things that I don't really know about. I'm writing based on what I think his voice is. And it was actually an incredible moment, because then, that was the first conversation. Like, take a look what I read. Let's rewrite it. Let's approach this now as co-creators, because it kind of woke me up in a way, which I think it might have hopefully woke up a lot of writers, that at the very least there should, if you're talking about race specific things or things that just really aren't from your culture, then at the very least a consultation. Sometimes people don't want to be writers, but Andre did, so we hopped in, and so that's kind of when everything changed, and then we kind of all became co-creators on the project. There's a third person as part of this group, Dennis Nicholson, our director, and so we ended up forming a digital writers room, and then kind of retooled the whole series with a different voice, which I think made it 1,000 times better. Yeah.
Do you have anything you want to add to that at all, Andre, of coming in as a writer and contributing, not just as an actor?
It was interesting to just kind of like figure out when and where I needed to take things on. Like, I guess for our first episode, like, we had the code changing stuff, there's a first draft that we did, and we ended up having to reshoot that one. And then when we were preparing for the reshoot, it was like, why? What does it need? What does it need? It was like, oh, it's Toronto. So let's bring the Toronto mans into the picture. And it kind of, because it's so Toronto right now, it's like it seems perfect to bring that reference in. And then taking an opportunity to, as we're going through the episodes, I was like, do we address the George Floyd murder? And I was like, if we do, I think I want to take this one. And because I know for me, I was feeling a lot of frustration and helplessness around that situation. And I think what we were able to accomplish was sort of the inner workings and the frustration of Black people at the time, of like all these stupid things being said. And, in the US, things are burning. So that sort of violence that was erupting out of people due to the passion that they were feeling and the anger that they were feeling was something that I really wanted to try and capture, while at the same time trying to keep it light in a sense, not light, but a sense of humor to it, while not making fun of the situation at the same time.
Yeah, that was a fine line you tread. Great job.
Yeah, and I think and the one thing that I think that we found with the show is, in general, is that it doesn't always have to be funny. There's some episodes that I think that are more about the conversations that they're having, and the fact that they're having it is a big accomplishment. Whether if they're right or wrong, they're still finding their way. Like the one thing that I mentioned to these guys is that I think in every incarnation of our show, over the 3 times that we visited it, we never solve anything.
Yeah, we're definitely the worst private detectives ever.
Never solve a case.
Yeah.
And with each issue that we bring up, we don't solve it.
Yeah.
It's an ongoing conversation, right? And I mean, it would be amazing if in a matter of 5 minutes, we solved that one.
Yeah.
But all these things are still issues right now. Like the day of the verdict for Derek Chauvin, another little girl was killed by the police. So it's in a sense that, yes, justice was served, but we're not there yet, right? The conversations aren't done. We got to continue talking and find a way through, as opposed to talking quietly to ourselves and coming to a standstill.
I think that if there was a takeaway, and from everything you said there, Andre, I think that is the most, like, outside of the comedy and whatever else we did, I hope the one thing that if anyone does take anything from the show is that you should always keep talking, because that's the only way through.
Guys, thanks for this. This was awesome. I so appreciate it. Andre Sills and Oliver Ward, thank you both so much for joining us. Be sure to follow Private Idiots on Instagram and check out this web series. It is amazing. Thank you both so much for taking the time to join us. And we leave you now with a clip from Private Idiots.
Damn, she's cute.
I'm canceling you.
I am HR. Shut the fuck up.
It's all talk, man. No titty.
Well, we aim to please. What the fuck you dealing with, my youth?
$600 million worth of blue alien porn.
What the fuck was that?
I didn't realize that Hal Johnson was black.
I can't take this shit. Pancakes!
Joe Rogan is God.
Like Wayne Brady.
You know what they say. Once you go black. Well, how about a high five for being white?
Hey, Boise?
Yes, Steve?
Shut the fuck up.
We miss open mic. We miss seeing all of you.
I can't even believe how much I've missed you guys.
I feel like I'm living my best Rosie O'Donnell Broadway life right now.
We have our sound check room. We also have the bar.
Thank you guys so much for giving people this platform.
That's very similar to singing in a bar.
Yes, but the first one. Yeah, that's a time. So even people in the chat are like, that's times.
Time solo.
I just realized I'm in my bedroom.
This is Taboo Broadway edition.
This is the good in the world. We're so glad to be part of it. Thank you. What a show. Thank you all so much for spending your time with us today. I want to thank all of our guests, Zach Colangelo from #CurtainUp, Robert Wilkinson from The Voice in the Other Room, Andre Sills and Oliver Ward from Private Idiots, Tim and Trish from Tweed and Company, and of course our performers, Chris Tsujiuchi and Dillan Meighan-Chiblowof. And we also want to thank our community partners, Sidebiz Studio, the Canadian Green Alliance, our friends at the New Local, and of course our political correspondent, Clare Blackwood of Late Night in Canada, and this week's wellness feature, Julia Uhas from Live with Ease. Please be sure to follow all of our guests tonight. They are doing amazing things and could use your support. If there is a guest or a topic or anything you'd like to see us talk about here on Singular, please get in touch with us. You can email us at singularsensationmondays@gmail.com and be sure to follow us on all the socials. We leave you this evening with a new offering from our friends at the Wheat and Sea Collective as part of their Only Intermission line. And a portion of the proceeds from this line will be going to the Actors Fund of Canada. So we thank you all for joining us tonight. Stay safe, stay healthy, hang in there. You're doing great. We love you very much, and we'll see you next time. Take care.
I was distracted and in traffic. I didn't feel it when the earthquake happened, but it really got me thinking. Were you out drinking? Were you in the living room chilling, watching television? It's been a year now. Think I figured out how to let you go and let communication die out. I know, you know, we know you were down for forever and it's fine. I know, you know, we weren't meant for each other and it's fine. But if the world was ending, you'd come over, right? You'd come over and you'd stay the night. Would you love me for the hell of it? All our fears would be irrelevant. If the world was ending, you'd come over, right? The sky'd be falling and I'd hold you tight. And there wouldn't be a reason why we wouldn't even have to say goodbye. If the world was ending, you'd come over, right? Right? If the world was ending, you'd come over, right? Right?